wait. Okay, this is on phone, but I would like to say something. I just want to point out that I completely agree with, and like what you're saying about pro-life just does not make sense to how like it doesn't affect a woman's body. Like it completely, like not even like the body itself, just like a woman in general. Like men think that they have a say in what happens to like what women want to do with their own body. Like, cause like everything that's being decided and like the government and everything, that's all white men. Like there are no women in there that are like putting in their opinions. Like this is all being decided by men, but it's not happening to their body. The men are not the ones the men are not the ones that are having to get the abortion. It is the woman. And ultimately, and in most cases, it is the woman that does most of the caretaking, not the men. I'm not saying that's in all cases. I'm just saying in most, women are the caretakers. So women have, like, if they believe that they are not financially or mentally stable to take care of another human being, the foster system, I know like firsthand, not me personally, but family, it does not always work. It is not always the best like situation to put someone in. And also killing, it's not even killing. You're just preventing a human life from being absolutely horrible when they come out. Like if like that person ultimately dies from like having like not enough food or something like that, put it on the table.
I have a question.
Wait, hold on. Just give me 1 minute. So
masturbation murder then? Come on. Let's
shut up.
Bro, it's not even a fertilized cell. There's nothing to do with
It's not.
Hold on.
Just to try and prove your
It's literally not a baby. It is
Let me speak.
cells.
So I have a question. When do you define when a baby has life? What stage do you find is life? Like conception? When the brain forms, the heart forms, when the baby comes out? When
we'd
do you
like to
define
direct
life?
to you. What do you think it is life?
I think when the brain forms.
All right, well,
brain
forms on week 33 of a baby's brain development, right? And the latest you could get an abortion in California is week 33. So technically, it's not even a fully formed brain, which means, by your logic, that it's not even a real life yet.
Yeah,
right?
You're pro-choice.
Which is why no one is advocating for complete total abortion, and I don't think anyone here is advocating for complete ban.
You just did.
Right?
You literally said the same
I'm not.
thing.
That's not even my position. That's not my position at all. My position is nothing is ever black and white. And so there are certain cases where abortion should be allowed, right? Incest, rape.
Also, tell me by your guidelines, as a man who's observing, will never have to go through being forced to have a baby that endanger the life of yourself and of the baby. Tell me what your guidelines are for the rules of when you should have an abortion. Do you mean like when a woman's raped and her body's violated, that then she can have like her own choice? So does she have to like, not have her choice in being violated to be able to have an abortion? Then just let me know. I want to hear your insight. Like, please.
Thing is, you can claim all you want that it's my body, my right. But then there are certain things like it's living. It's almost living, right? There's the line between being in a room. The line between being in a room and being born is kind of arbitrary if you look at it from a developmental standpoint, right? At that point, one time you're inside the womb, and you're connected to the mother, but your brain is still functioning. You still have reflexes. You can still respond, and so that's why we don't have as many late-term abortions because it feels more like a baby, and which is why no one is saying ban all abortions. That's not even my position at all. My position is.
Someone pointed out before, it's not always black and white, and that is the reason why you should be pro-choice. Choice means that you have a say in what you want to do. That means that like everything is not black and white, obviously, but you have a say in what you want to do.
Like, for example, like personally, I might not have an abortion myself. That does not mean that me, whether for any reason whatsoever, that doesn't mean I'm going to prevent every single other woman to stop having an abortion, That doesn't apply. Like, it doesn't make sense to bring your own values to prevent people who can actually disrupt their livelihood just to force them to be like, I have decided I don't want you to do this. And also, like I wanted to add, there still is no definite scientific thing about when life begins because it's always subjective whether you believe in religious or spiritual reasons.
Of course, it's all subjective. Again, it's all black and white. But this is like controversial, and this is my opinion. But I believe that you can have a choice of abortion or not until the brain is formed. When the brain is formed, you cannot abort anymore. All right, you have to carry on.
Can I talk?
Because at the point where the brain forms, you probably already know if you're pregnant or not. So like you already have like a long enough time to decide whether you want an abortion or not.
I think that's how they've made the laws so far. By the way, I think a lot of them are based on. I think you're right. A lot of them are based on the brain.
And the law is fine. What are we here debating then?
we're debating about abortion. It was very vague.
Yeah,
There was no
you guys,
specifics,
like,
was there?
There is no specific. That's why we're debating about this.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying that's a good thing.
Can I
I'm not trying to
talk?
be against every single thing you
No.
say. I'm debating the topic at hand here.
Yeah, I agree with some points, but like, of course, this is controversial. So like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who decided this topic. Like, I'm glad I'm here being able to speak on it, but it's a very difficult one to not cause problems with, which doesn't mean we shouldn't debate it. You should always talk about things that cause issues.
In that case,
I'm saying, like, in terms of
Right.
this, we're not the best to talk about this.
All right, I'm gonna talk now. So first of all, the argument that a man cannot talk about abortion because they're not a woman
We didn't
is
say you can't.
It
Can I
isn't you
talk?
can't. It's just you don't know what it's like being a woman, so you probably
We
The
just
idea of
really like
sympathy
interrupting
isn't
you.
there.
Sorry.
you're an insider
You don't
or
have,
you're
like, the
outsider
amendment, right?
looking
So it's
in,
like-
you have an insider.
But there's some common
That
sense
makes
things
sense.
that, like, you have to understand that regardless of who it happens to, there's still, like, this is something that will become a human being at some point, right? So it's not just up to women to this. Very anti-democratic, I would say. Just let's say only women can decide about this.
Man.
No, I mean the
wait.
thing.
So can I talk or what?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so first of all, the argument that men cannot talk about abortion because they're not a woman or they don't know what it feels like is like saying you can't talk about Black Lives Matter or something because you're not black, or that you can't talk about slavery because you're in
I actually agree
slavery.
with that.
Whoa,
Like,
whoa.
Can I talk? Like, okay,
No.
right? So like, okay, well, you don't have to agree, but let me talk. So that you can't just say that men can talk, and by that logic, you shouldn't be talking about either because I'm pretty sure you're a guy. So like, I don't know why you're talking about it, but like saying that men can't talk about it because it's not abortion, like that makes no sense. Like, I can talk about murder, but like I'm not a victim or something. Like, that argument doesn't make any sense. Just because like you're killing a baby, and that's what we're talking about it, and we're talking about the morality of killing a baby, which is wrong. So the fact that it's not a woman, it's not a woman, doesn't mean that I can't talk about abortion because you're killing an innocent baby, and I'm arguing that that's morally wrong. Second, I do support abortions when it's like emergency cases where it's like woman's life versus child life, or like the baby's life. Yeah, like you can abort those, or if it's like if you're raped or you're violated, then I support abortion. But I don't think you can support. I don't think you should be able to abort whenever you want just because you don't want to. Like,
Why?
when you had consensual sex, you took on the risk knowing that you can get pregnant, or when you choose not to use a condom or something, right? So you knew the risks, which is why I think if you're raped, you didn't have a choice, and
What if
therefore you have been
what if you
violated.
did use a condom?
What?
What if you
I
did
think
use a
we got
condom?
into the point
That's
in
part of the
society
risk,
that
though.
obviously a lot of people are not having sex to get pregnant. Like, you shouldn't be burdened. Like, I mean, it's not always like you shouldn't just be burdened with that just because you had
But you
sex.
knew the risk, and you chose to go through it, and now you're pregnant, and now you're killing an innocent baby for it. And
Hi,
I'm saying that's morally wrong.
I'm now on phone. Cool. Okay. So also, being pro-life or like banning abortion, that kind of takes away the ability of someone who got raped, which is obviously not consensual.
I talked about it. I said I support
Yeah,
abortion.
he
when
agreed about it. I heard him.
Okay, but like, how can you
I think
support
we all
abortion
agree
with
on
rape, but just not
Also,
support it
I'm
in
not
general?
I'm not
Because
procrastinating
if you
anymore.
if you
Do you
support it
support
with
capitalism?
rape,
I do support capitalism,
One
but that's not the
second,
debate.
please.
Yeah,
One
that's
second.
not the
Do you
debate.
support neoliberalism, anti-postmodernism,
But it's
anti-blackness,
really not the debate.
anti-woman?
We're debating abortion.
No, I know, but it does link over. There's a very
It
heavy
really
and strong
doesn't.
link.
Okay, back to abortion. Okay, so if you were saying that you're okay with abortion if someone is raped, but not in other, like, if they're not stable to take care of the child,
Your problem isn't with abortion.
your problem is it's not with abortion. Your problem is just like with like the circumstances that it happens with.
And it's reinforcing the
Also,
patriarchy.
additionally, for the person who said they were pro-life, if you're saying, "Oh, it's okay when someone is raped," that means you're really not prioritizing life. You said that the life like matters in every single situation. So yeah, she was raped, but it's a baby, is it not? Like, oh, so now you're saying that just because like she was raped, now the baby doesn't matter. So are you picking and
Support
choosing?
that side as
Like,
well.
I'm not really
I can
understanding. I want
support
to
both
bring
sides,
back.
but I'm saying
I
that the
want
only
to
case I would
want to
ever
ask
accept
about what
abortion
your
back.
guidelines are for when women should get an abortion.
Okay, it's not black and white. It's not black and white. There are cases where things are allowed. There are cases where
So
things
tell
aren't
me
allowed.
what is the rules? Like, what is, like, in your opinion, what should be the guidelines?
Yeah, because if you guys are
when
making
it's
the
okay,
claim
when it's
that
not.
a baby already has a life at conception, does like the mother's consent go into whether or not the baby was alive? No, technically not. Like, that doesn't make any sense to argue that.
I'm not saying
So-
that if you consented, the life doesn't matter. I'm just saying that, like, if I were to give any kind of budging in that, then that's the only case. But even then, I can make the argument that even if you're raped, you shouldn't be allowed to kill another person because you were attacked.
Okay, well then choose a stance. Do you believe that a raped woman should have to go through and carry out the baby?
Okay, we're making this black and white again, okay? There's no one side, the other side, it's a
It's
spectrum.
not black and white. You're just
what are we
clarifying.
arguing for?
Rape is not a
We argue
spectrum. That
all
is
day that it's not black and white.
I'm saying that there are certain cases where abortions can
Yeah, there's
Be
Okay,
allowed
but
to
if there
have
are
their
certain
every
cases, that is why pro-choice should be a thing. Because if there are certain cases, they have a choice on what they want to do.
Exactly.
Which is why we've allowed some of those cases, right? But there are other cases where, of course, from my standpoint,
like what?
it doesn't make sense that to kill a
Yeah,
baby.
I
Just
would like to know. I would like
Well,
to know.
something I just want to add is that we keep saying you're killing a baby, but for a lot of the fetal development, it's really just a bundle of cells. Like imagine you have a tumor in your body.
Yeah,
Those are just
yeah, but
Not
then,
abnormally
really.
divided
Not
but
cells.
then we
really.
Are
go
you
back
saying
to
you can't
another.
take those cells out of your body because you're
But
technically
Not
okay,
in the
killing
early
them? Is what you're
stages.
saying?
but then we go to
Those
an
are usually
argument
for like the first
again.
few weeks. After that, it starts
Again,
looking
we
more
go.
like a.
Oh, okay. I'll let you talk. I'll let you talk. Go on. Go on.
Before silent, I have something to say as well. There was
Wait.
a Canadian case, the Supreme Court with Morgenthaler, and it was debated about abortion laws because there used to be like how someone here mentioned who was pro-life that there should be it's not a lot not black and white, there's specific situations. So there used to have that. There used to be a committee where they would decide who was allowed to have an abortion, who wasn't, which one is taking away the choice from the woman
Well, yeah,
who's trying
but
to have an
that's not
abortion or the
right.
person
I
trying.
agree. That's
Hey,
not
let me
right.
finish. Shut up.
I was trying to agree with you. I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay, no, sorry. I like that you're agreeing, but just let me speak, please. I don't want to be
All right, my
interrupted.
bad.
I'm trying to make a point. So as I was saying, there used to be a committee, and it would be a case-by-case basis, and they would be deciding whether a woman can have an abortion, whether it would be, if it's affecting her, or like the specific rules as is proposing. And it was argued in the Supreme Court. It was by Morgenthaler. It was brought forward multiple times, and it was actually agreed upon that it was going against their right to, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like life and liberty and their choice of person. And it was like, obviously, as you said, it's subjective. There were some people on the Supreme Court who didn't all agree. You can read up about it, but it's like it does go against your choice. So it's like, I don't know what kind of point you're trying to make if you're saying that the committee is going to be any better because it still goes against someone's choice of like when I want to do it.
Okay, so for the argument of choice, it's like
Oh.
if I want to murder someone, and you prohibit me from murdering someone, are you taking away my choice of acting however I want to?
But are you a woman that was raped?
No, it doesn't matter. I'm saying you're
Of
talking
course it
about choice.
matters.
Okay,
You're talking about choice,
can you
right?
repeat that? I didn't really understand what you said.
Okay, yeah. So if I want to murder someone and you prohibit me from murdering someone, are you taking away my choice to live how I want to?
Yes, but there's an effect on society and on the person, and that person is already alive, and they're going to be affected, and so is their family.
The baby is alive.
This
Why
is
do we
different
keep
because this is
classifying
affecting
abortion
the
as
choice
murder?
of
I
a
thought
person.
we cut it out
The
the way
it
that
has
choice of your own
human.
body.
Okay. Let me talk. I agree that there should be a right for you to choose, but I believe there should be a time limit. I mean, the time limit is subjective, but I think the time limit
There
is
is.
there
there
is a
should be a
time limit.
I mean, but time limit is subjective,
How is
right?
that subjective?
Because we
No,
don't know when the
he's
baby
right.
has life or not.
He's right. The timeline is subjective. There, if you
It's
ask multiple people,
subjective.
even in the
When
medical community,
we don't,
even if you
we
ask
don't
multiple
know
people in
when
the
a
medical
foster.
community.
I'm
Wait, sorry,
sorry.
you go ahead.
We don't know when a baby develops life or develops conscious and develops intelligence. So we can't like say, oh, okay, after 4 weeks, okay, after 5 weeks. We can't do that. All right. But there has to be a time limit. I agree
Yeah.
that you should have a choice or you guys should have a choice whether to abort or not. But there should be a time limit because, like, okay, like when the baby's about to come out and you go, like, oh yeah, I want to abort. That's just not right. That's plain up murder, right?
No,
Or
but
like, for
abortion,
example,
any cancellation or pro-life of abortion supports capitalism, which is ontologically and reduces subjects to state of currency. It is an infinite violence in the form of identity
so let me
commodification. Otherness
let me
is
ask
within
you.
itself an integral part of itself in a way that remains in humans stranger to itself. So basically, what you're saying is this entire idea of abortion being pro-life, like the denying of any type of woman empowerment, that again prevents the idea of a social uprising, but again to lead to more capitalism.
And nothing
Your
wrong with
argument is
capitalism.
very, very slippery slope. Your argument is very, very slippery slope, and you keep going on to talking about capitalism, which makes no sense. Like, we're literally talking about abortion.
Like, if you don't understand the idea of how, like, the link between abortion and capitalism, that's like I can clarify that for you further.
There's
But I don't
no
want to.
link.
But that doesn't
There's
matter.
no
Why are
link,
we
so
talking
please
about
stop going
capitalism?
there.
When we're talking
Let's
about the
focus on the
morality
real.
of abortion.
We're talking about
Let's
abortion.
not
I
stray
mean, there
away
is a
from
link.
the
But that was
actual
Keep
idea of
economic
abortion.
policy out of this,
Right,
okay? It's
so what is
kind of
everyone
irritating.
talking
To be
about?
honest
Economic
with you.
policy has a direct link to abortion.
But it doesn't.
Bro,
So
you're
everything has a
does.
direct link to
Get on
everything.
topic, man.
Can we just talk about abortion? Well, I know there's a link,
We
but
are
like
talking
we don't have to
about
go on that
abortion.
tangent. We don't have to go on that tangent to talk about
It's
this.
not a
We don't
tangent.
have to. It is a tangent.
Direct link.
It's not
Being
the
pro-life
it's
being
anything
pro-choice
direct link.
loses empowerment for women.
Guys,
That loss of
us
empowerment for
debating on
women.
like other side topics aren't gonna like have us actually have a productive debate about the main topic, which I understand like bringing in different concepts is gonna work, but just arguing whether or not we should do it, that's not really gonna help us here.
But that's
Exactly.
what
So we
it
need to
is.
take into account the whole perspective, a
No,
field.
I mean bringing in the concepts
pro-life.
work, but like like how you guys started arguing about, oh, please don't bring economic policy into this. It's annoying. It's annoying if you say that. Just please let someone say their point and then
What?
respond. We're here. We're mature like adults. We're mature like okay, we're not adults, but we're mature young adults here. We're trying to have a conversation, a debate
Bro,
in a controlled
no.
environment. We're not just unhinged.
Okay, first
No
of
one
all,
here
I've
is about
never
the age-
interrupted.
No one here is about the age of 81. Not 81, I mean 21. Therefore, like, none of us actually have, like, any, like, experience in society to say that our opinions are correct. So whatever arguments we have here, in all honesty, I'm gonna say it out straight. This argument is probably full of people, including me, who have no idea what they're talking about, with misinformed opinions. And it doesn't matter what side you're on, your opinion probably doesn't reflect all the facts. Because you don't know all the facts. You haven't lived long enough to know all the facts, including me. So therefore, arguments I make probably aren't going to be, like, completely accurate. So let's, like,
I actually disagree with that. I think that this entire argument of the direct link between abortion to economic systems, especially that needing a social uprising for social democracy, and getting rid of otherness in the form of anti-capitalism is, in fact, first of all, something that I've reviewed for a long time. And it is a legit thing. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I understand why you're linking it, but I think you're kind of just using the idea of I want to be pro-choice and abortion as a tool of furthering your economic, like I forgot what the word is, economic, like gain. Yeah, sorry, there's other people. Like I understand why you bring it in because it can benefit one another. There's like a symbiotic relationship, but I don't want you to be using it as a tool to just further another agenda. It's not just.
For sure.
It's individual people who are being affected by this. It's not just, hey, I'm gonna have a different.
Yeah, but it is a big part. It is a big part of the entire scheme of having a social uprising. So I think talking about it, I'm not technically using it as like for example, a tool. It really is a big part of this idea of having a social uprising, Lenin, because any idea of policy, especially those that are very clearly on the left or right, is going to have a major shift in the public, the lower and middle class, especially the bourgeoisie, and having them have this social uprising.
This feels like what's Inspector Calls? Sorry, never mind.
So if anybody has any rebuttal to the idea of the social uprising, whether or not social democracy itself is inherently immoral or moral, or if there's like a link question, I'll be free to clarify.
Okay, just give me a second. Give me a second to refute this, man. So
you're saying that. I want to say something. There is somebody who wants to respond, but I just wanted to say I don't think we're going to be able to debate that as much because us right now, like someone said, it is our opinions. We don't all know the information. So as much as I do support being socialist, I don't know all the terminology to be able to refute that fact. But someone does want to say something here.
Yeah, girl, what? Sorry, what is this social uprising? I'm quite lost. Is this not an abortion debate?
No, yeah.
Nonsense.
So the idea of social uprising is an idea of otherness, anti-neoliberalism, and the postmodernism as described by Baudrillard, Bataille, Derrida, a lot of philosophers in the Renaissance era.
We are talking about abortion, not a social uprising. By giving a woman the choice to have abortion or not, that is not going to empower them to want to have a social uprising in the slightest.
It's not going to empower them, but it's going to empower society through multiple, relatively direct causes.
Sure,
okay,
but
now? I haven't said it for like 5 minutes. Can I talk? Okay, so first I want to point out the irony of how you try to bring up social uprising to help the idea of pro-choice, except other people who argue pro-choice are disagreeing with you because no one has any idea what you're saying. Well, we understand the economic idea, but you're trying to bring in a bunch of random information that
understand an economic
doesn't have
idea of social democracy.
It's not random.
Can I talk?
It's not random.
Wait, can I talk though?
No.
Yeah, go ahead. Karl Marxism.
All right. Anyway, second, you guys talk about you guys try to link abortion into affecting women's rights, which in itself is
not
the
women's
problem.
rights. It's women empowerment.
I think he was talking to me.
But the other people are talking about women's rights and their ability to have choice making.
Yeah, I'm talking about another topic, another link, another part of this.
I'm not responding to you. I'm responding to 90% of the pro-choice people that made arguments.
So you gotta take in everything. Like I personally agree with Karl Marx fans 69-420 saying, because you gotta think of it from a different perspective.
You have to taken the whole idea of fiat. If you are truly going to implement this idea, thank you for that, by the way.
Okay, if I could just add something, we're establishing this
Karl
link
Marx
between
fan was talking.
pro-choice and women's rights. If you go back to like what every single person in the United States, all these natural rights, you have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which means that if women want to get rid of their baby, if that's what's going to make them happy, if that's what fits their morals, then that's what they should have the right to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, as far as I can tell, killing a baby
was
stops the release of dopamine in their brains. And I think dopamine makes you happy. So maybe you're taking away the baby's happiness. You know, just something to think about. Wow, I mean,
Do you mean the baby that's not even fully
Here, let me give you.
Come on.
I'm gonna give you a little biology lesson here. So it goes from sperm and egg.
Thank you.
You're not to me about biology. Oh, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be funny.
Tell me your
Let's go.
definition of when it's a kid. You can't, because like you said, it's subjective. It's not black and white. Everyone in the medical community doesn't agree either. Some people say it's a conception that's based on religion. Some people say it's based on when it's an embryo. That's also different. Some people say heart. Some people say brain. There's a bill passed at 6 weeks, which is, by the way, before people even knew. So every single thing, it doesn't line up. You keep saying, oh, I agree this, I think this. You're contradicting yourself, and it's not working.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Even I don't have I'm not
That's what I'm
positive about the
saying.
exact line where a life starts, right? It's hard to it's hard to determine that.
Are you gonna?
I think we already established that point.
Is anybody gonna
stuff
like?
is black and white or hard to determine when you don't have an
Yeah, exactly. We established that point like a while.
Is anybody gonna talk about the ontological infinite violence of capitalism, or are we gonna concede that?
What if we don't talk about that? I just want to point out how so a lot of this argument I think revolves around.
Okay, wait. Also,
it revolves on when a life starts, and we don't have we don't have the scientific literature to like understand that right now. So I'm personally like no, I don't
the
hold like a
word
stance
life is
where
a concept that we made, so technically, like, it's something that we can decide. That's the entire point of a debate. It's not like a very like set in stone scientific thing, Like the point is, we don't know when a life starts. That's why we have debates on exactly why or when a life starts. But for example, let's say a life does start at conception. Even if I were to concede that point, like for example, we can look at the baby as like a parasite, right? It can't live without the mother, right? And if the mother, for example, there was like this analogy that I saw online. It was the idea that there was like a full grown man.
Let him finish.
Let me finish.
I could do the same with civilians.
Stop interrupting! You said you're not
Exactly.
going to interrupt, so stop.
Okay, yeah. So going on to the analogy, there's an idea of basically like a full-grown man that needs, like for example, he's unconscious in a coma, and he was like attached, like through an accident, he was attached to another woman or a man, doesn't matter, and he needs that other man to live, even though he's in a coma, right? But the other man obviously has his own life, he has his own family, he needs to support his own kids, right? He has financial restrictions just as mothers or like people that are pregnant have. And because of that, he's like, for example, like you can't force that other person that was connected to the person in the accident to like stay in the hospital and like just not care for their family or do follow any of their other responsibilities, just because in this accident there was another life attached to him that needs him. Like it's not his responsibility through this accident. It's not like it's not a pushed responsibility that he has to do everything in order to save this other person's life.
But in this case, the guy didn't mean to have the child, right? And like the woman,
exactly, just like how the accident was never meant to happen.
And then the woman had the baby, and it's like it just kind of was their choice, right? Because they knew what they were doing.
No.
And in that case, it wasn't really like so. Like, and in some cases, you are responsible for the baby, right? It is
No.
like, yeah,
No.
yeah.
No.
What do you mean?
How? First of all, there's like the idea of
Yes.
rape, right? Second of all, there's the idea of using protection that has failed, and that could have been, company's fault. For example, the idea of a condom, a mislit, right, or a manufacturing problem with that specific condom, or like any other type of protection. For example, even
Yeah, I have something to speak about this as well. Just when you're done, let me know.
I'm like, okay, yeah, that was my main point. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I wanted to add in addition to that, so talking about how, the responsibility of not getting pregnant, you're act like, especially with your point about saying every single life does matter, like has its value. You're saying that, there's some people walking around. You're saying that by you saying it's their responsibility to not get pregnant, you're saying that they have to have the burden of a baby, but you said that every single life has a value. So you're just like, the baby is not a burden, you know, it has value to its life. It's not just something to put on someone as a lesson, you know, it's going to have its own life. Like you said, your main point is saying it's going to have its own full life. It's going to live, it's going to have choices, but it's not just something to throw on somebody else to deal with because, oh, you made one mistake. You know, always take responsibility for your actions, but not as a way to punish somebody.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Okay, so first, the argument that you can kill a baby in the womb because they're dependent on the mother and can't live without the mother is like saying you can kill an infant or like someone that's disabled that cannot care for themselves, and saying that you can kill them because you want to, or like they
No, I'm
have
saying,
someone else to depend on.
I'm not saying you can
Comparing
kill like
something with an undeveloped brain
That's
to a
wrong.
disabled person. Do you
person.
not see the fallacy that you're creating?
exactly.
I didn't hear half the things because you guys are
And
interrupting each
that
other.
was an incredibly
compared to something
misogynist.
that hasn't developed a brain fully. Do you not see the fallacy you're creating? Come on.
Say it again. Say it again.
Wait,
Which?
let me ask, or when you're done talking, I want to ask a question.
I'm done.
Are you guys done?
Basically, sorry, go ahead. You can go first.
All right, so I'm gonna have a question. So, would you, if someone is in the late stages of Alzheimer's and he or she cannot think for himself or herself, and basically lost all brain function, would you euthanize him or her?
Huh?
Wait, what? Can you say that again?
So,
Without
someone
their
in the late
consent,
stages
would
of
you kill
Alzheimer's.
someone who is
Yeah,
extremely
let me speak. Okay, if someone was in a late stage of Alzheimer's, right,
Okay.
and basically they're irreparable, right, they cannot be saved,
Okay.
and they basically lost all brain function.
Okay.
Would you legalize the euthanization of that person?
No, because it's not based on what's considered useful or not. It's not a utilitarian outlook
Exactly.
on like abortion and killing and whatnot.
We have to look at
So
this
you
through an
can't
ontological point of view.
exactly.
I
You
know
can't
that word means.
classify the two
So
as the same.
I would, okay. So you say no, right?
No. Yeah.
No. All right.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
Oh,
Okay.
No rebuttal.
Well, okay, I guess using that analogy, the main point is like, for example, we wouldn't legalize someone shooting that guy in the head, right? But we also wouldn't make the law enforce, for example, what pro-life does. We wouldn't make it so that somebody has to take care of him for free.
That's true. Of course, like we can't take care
Okay,
of
well
the
then that's the
person
idea. Like the
completely.
mother has to take care of the baby for free. Like there's no medical assistance
Yeah, but
unless
then, for
the very,
example, like
very
what if the
like
person?
failing programs that the government, the patriarchy already has.
Okay, so what if, for example, like the person who's paying for the medical bills was running out of money and like can't support the person who's in hospital? So would you legalize euthanization now?
It's
Right?
not euthanization if you literally can't afford, like, for example, medical attention.
But
Hey,
then
are we
gonna-
more
Listen, that happens
concerned
a
about
lot.
quality of life or quantity of life?
Exactly.
Because if you have a baby, who knows if that baby's gonna have a good life? Who knows if the mother of the baby's gonna have a good
Who are
life?
you to decide that? Who are you to decide the fate of the baby,
Exactly,
right?
we're not. That's why you need this choice. It's not the
But it's very
pro-life.
authoritarian
It
of you
should
to
be
say that,
it
oh,
should be
this
the
is
mother's
because
fault. The baby doesn't choose to be born, so it should be the mother's decision, correct?
back me up here.
Don't back him up. You're gonna get roasted, bro. No cap.
Come on, you gotta have a rebuttal for that.
Yeah.
If you don't, then you just don't know what.
what?
Or about the ontological infinite capitalist violence.
Dude, shut up.
By maturing the material conditions in combination on a social scale of the process of production, AI matures the contradictions and antagonism of capitalism.
You
Facts.
sound like a random word generator, bro. Like, please.
We must
stop.
embrace the AI revolution, Hernandez et al. 19.
Are you literally reading from the Communist Manifesto?
No. This
Then
isn't the
stop.
Communist Manifesto.
Oh, yes,
Extra
on the
essentialist.
Trust me, I would know.
argument.
Please, let's stay on topic.
This is
Thank
okay.
you.
Yeah, guys, come on, stay on topic.
We have
So basically,
somebody
the
else
idea of
at a point.
sorry.
If someone is brain dead, then they still have some brain function in their brainstem, but you can legally take them off the plug, which is not called murder, it's technically a mercy. So how is that any different with a fetus who has less brain function, if any?
That's what I was trying to say. That's what I was
That's what
trying
I'm
to relate it to.
saying.
Well,
Why are you
problem
trifling?
is, babies aren't conscious until like what is it? A few weeks after birth, because consciousness is like a working memory, and they haven't developed that. So does that mean it's okay to kill like a week old baby?
Well,
like,
then that's why I use Alzheimer's, because Alzheimer's is the deterioration of the brain. So it's like the same thing, but going the opposite direction.
So you're saying they're opposites?
No, it's oh my god, it's the same thing, but they're going the opposite direction. So would you legal? Okay, would you legalize the euthanization of someone who is becoming dumber or losing brain function, or someone who is basically gaining brain function but has not like yet become intelligent?
No, but what's the like similarity between the two situations? I'm like, tell me what's the like someone
Because
who
they're
has already been born
because they're
and
both
been
they
living.
both. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll let you finish. Okay. They're both losing brain function, so they basically they both lost function to think for themselves, right? It's the
That
same.
is
It's the same
It's
thing.
an incredibly auto-immutable neoliberal point of view and connection
that's
that you
what
just
I'm
made.
saying. Cause like think about it. All right, if a baby isn't born yet,
Please.
the baby
Not
has
like
more
philosophy.
impact on like your
Politics is
economic status
philosophy.
than an old person would. Because you could just put those people in retirement homes or whatever.
That's
You
what
think
I'm
about it.
saying.
So like, do we agree that a baby takes more time, money, and effort to manage than a person with a deteriorating brain?
Of
Okay, so this is
course.
not about
Preach,
a baby.
queen.
This is hey, I'm sorry. This is not about a baby. This is about a bundle of cells in a woman who did not ask for them to be there, who
Exactly.
does not have the ability to take care of that child. And if we're
Period.
going to talk about abortion, are people fully prepared to start investing in the foster care system? Are people fully prepared to start making sure that babies aren't left on the street because people couldn't get an abortion? Are you fully prepared to go to middle schools and high schools and talk about safe sex and give out condoms? Are you ready
Exactly.
to talk about healthy and smart ways to not have unwanted pregnancies?
Oh my God,
Because you
preach.
can't mention any. You
That's what should
cannot.
happen. That is what should happen.
No. Hey, I am
It's
still
the
talking.
misogyny for me.
I'm still
He's
talking.
still
You
talking.
cannot. You cannot call this a debate about babies until you talk about the people it is affecting, because the real humans it affecting, it will take a toll unless you're willing to pay for therapy afterwards for the traumatic experience. Maybe a girl was raped, okay? Maybe the
Exactly.
condom broke. Unless you're
Which
willing
is
to fully
why we allow
unless you are
abortion
willing
up to a
Stop
fully
point.
support.
interrupting. Please
Stop
let her speak.
interrupting me. I am not joking. Stop interrupting me. Unless you are willing to talk about every other single aspect of this debate, you cannot have this debate.
Exactly.
I'm
Thank you for
willing
that.
to. That's what should
I
happen.
really appreciate that.
We
Thank you
should-
for saying that.
We should invest in the foster care system. We should invest in all those programs. We don't, and it's a mistake. But that doesn't mean this doesn't mean it's okay to like kill a baby when it's almost about to be born. Like let's say third trimester, right? Like we should invest, and it's a mistake we haven't, right?
Invest with what
You
money?
missed the entire
Also,
point of her argument, because then you
Yeah,
just went
dude.
right back to killing babies. There's so much more she talked about, like
The
the
point
traumatic
is
experience.
exactly. Yo,
We
Alright,
should
you can
thanks for
invest,
that.
and it's a mistake we haven't.
No, no,
Which is why
okay,
I'm not.
bro, what you're saying right
This
now is
argument, I'm
incredibly
saying-
misogynistic, auto-immutable, and like the entire idea of anti-postmodernism. Basically, what she's saying is that you need to take into account all the factors. That doesn't mean that when
Exactly,
you say we have to invest in every single program to help the woman, okay, now can we kill the baby? That's what you're saying, and that's like missing the entire point.
Yeah,
Wait,
the
what?
key word of your sentence was "but we don't." So clearly, that it shows that you're striving for an idealistic society without taking the
You really support
realistic.
communism, okay?
Say that again.
And you
person
don't,
who is
Omega
claiming
lol.
himself to be extra centrist, stop interrupting. Interrupting, please. You want to make your point? Let us make our point. Stop, please. You've said this multiple times that you don't interrupt. Yes, you are.
Exactly.
All right, I'll let you talk. You could talk extra.
So
Whatever.
my entire thing is we we don't. It's a mistake. I'm not saying that like it's okay that we don't. We need to. The country has made mistakes in the past. We know this, and we should invest. But that doesn't mean like we have the right to take an innocent baby's life, right? Because like, what is it done to anyone, right? It's mere existence is the problem, right? Now,
So you think if we pour money into
Okay,
these
so
programs
you're telling
that
me
you
some
didn't even
innocent
say,
baby, but are you aware that those bundle cells can exist outside of the mother? Like,
yes,
it's not a like a tangible thing you can hold. Like, what you can't even go for like an ultrasound after a certain extended period.
exactly.
Like that baby cannot exist without being in the womb and getting those nutrients. So
That's
it's
what I'm
ultimately
saying.
the baby is more of the mother than it is its own being.
no, it's not
Exactly.
having DNA.
Oh, additionally,
Oh my god,
in terms of
bananas have DNA.
oh, here I want to say In terms of you know how people who have like IVF, for example, they have the cells or the embryos outside of the body. Would you say throwing away that test tube of cells that hasn't been implanted to the mother, is that murder? No, you're not going to say it's murder. It's in a science lab. It's a
Is
sample in a
eating a
science lab.
banana murder?
It's the exact
That's
same
really
thing that's in the
smart.
womb. It's the exact same thing that's in the uterus.
That was very
So why
smart.
is it
That was very
different?
smart.
Exactly. So what if what
Actually,
if we
Ben
have
Shapiro.
what if we have a limit? So hear me out. What if you have a limit where once a fetus reaches a certain age, we don't kill it? What if
Why are we
have
trying to
a-
compromise with this patriarchy?
But give the mother a choice. That is literally what we are trying to say. Give her a choice before any time or anything comes into discussion. Give the mother a choice.
Exactly. Preach.
They have a choice
Yeah,
after a certain point.
I don't
After a
think
certain point,
realize
the baby.
I don't think you even realize that like a lot of women as well, like they don't want to be in the position where they want to have an abortion. Of course, the choice is there for those who have an unwanted pregnancy, things like that. But a lot of women like they might have a miscarriage and they're like 7 months out of 9 months of pregnancy, or it'll kill them to give birth. They don't want to have the abortion. They could have been trying for years and months. We don't know their situation, and so it's not like they're like, oh, like I'm just gonna hop over to the hospital, get this baby out of me. Like it takes a toll on them as well. Like you're acting as if it's nonchalant and not caring at all.
Exactly. And just to add on, the logistics automation market is projected to grow from 46.22 billion in 2018 to 80.64 billion by 2023, re-emphasizing the idea that we need a social uprising. In addition, the World Economic Forum predicted that 30% of the jobs will be at risk at automation by 2030. And finally, the role of whatever ballot that we're trying to hear is to reject capitalism. Every refusal and act of negativity can challenge capitalism, neoliberalism, and anti-postmodernism. Those who are under the command of capital and are excluded from social lives
Stop
will equally
interrupting him,
of
sir.
a new revolutionary subject.
Bro, can we talk about abortion and not neoliberalism? Because
You have to endorse the proletariat democracy
connected.
premised around. Look, thank you, Austin. Thank you. But you
Call
have to.
Marxism Islamist.
Sorry, okay. You have to, again, endorse the idea of proletariat democracy, premised around localized systems of governance centered around the worker, Lenin, 1919.
Exactly, in order to fully understand abortion.
But we're quoting Lenin like he's freaking Jesus.
He is Jesus.
Yeah.
Bro.
So can I make closing arguments before I go? Can I make closing arguments, like, before I leave right now?
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so the entire debate about abortion isn't black and white. I agree with you. But what is black and white is the fact that the termination of a baby in the womb is either murder or it is not, right? And the thing is, if you think it is murder, then for the same reasons that murder of another human being is wrong, then that should be wrong. If you think it's not murder and by simply taking out a few cells, then the same argument can be made about any human. They're just a bundle of cells. It's just there's more matter. So by killing that person, you're just displacing matter by your arguments, which then doesn't matter, right? Because you can kill anyone, because it's just a bundle of cells. The other argument about women, about like spreading misogyny or something, like that's kind of BS. Like there's nothing that's spreading misogyny. We're saying that we should stop murder, and that's the reason we're against abortion. So like bringing women's rights into this makes it like a fallacy in the beginning, and then makes the argument like not work in the first place.
Does it not affect women's right to choice by banning all abortions?
If I stop murder, does that not ban my choice to kill someone? No, if you ban my choice to kill someone, are you not banning my choice to work to do what I want?
What now? Impact on person in society and other people that is not yourself.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
preach.
you're killing a baby. That is another.
No,
life.
it's not a baby though yet.
It is though.
Even if it were a baby, like
if it's not a baby, then sure, kill it. But if it's developed conscious, then you can kill it.
Wait, so it's not a baby. Are you saying it's just a bundle of cells?
Science so much, so I have a point to say as well. So you guys know Plan B, like morning after pill. That it really is not what is it called? It's like not an abortion, not a form of I don't know what the name of it is.
Technically, conception started, but it's not abortion. Yeah, I think that's what you're trying to say.
No, yeah. So it's taken after conception. It's not. It's taken after you've had
Exactly.
sex. So are you saying that
so
like does that is like and oh yeah, and so technically, like scientifically, they say that does not kill the embryo. That just kills the sperm while it's in there. So I don't like. It's not conception, obviously, because Plan B does not have an abortion thing.
Exactly.
No one's arguing against that. You guys are making the argument seem like it's, you guys are like, whatever I say or whatever it says, you're saying, oh, we want to ban all of this. No one's saying that. Okay, come on. Like, let's have like the
any ban is, first of all, like anti-woman, anti-black, It's pro-capitalism. It's anti-postmodernism. Again, it's pro-neoliberal.
Bro,
And that it completely destroys the idea of a social uprising.
You're anti-common sense. Like, please.
Bro, do you even know what I'm talking about? Can you spell auto-immutable?
I can spell
Okay,
it.
man.
I don't know what it means.
What?
Okay, man. Okay.
I'm so
Wait,
confused
how
why
do
that
you
matters
spell
though.
it?
What like
We-
whether
we-
you can
we
spell
have-
that.
You know what topoisomerase means?
We have one more point that we would like to make here.
When you get pregnant, you don't say "I just had a baby." You say "I'm having a baby" because it's not a baby yet.
Exactly.
Exactly. It's facts, man. Facts.
You can
Facts.
play with word choice, but like
Okay, it's
What is
not
that
even
called?
word choice. It's literally just how it is. It's how
And
it is.
no,
Exactly.
It's-
It has
it's
to
not
develop
that- it's not-
intelligence. Yes, not a baby.
Exactly. And
It is a
that
baby,
isn't
bro.
like
I
it's
don't
not
know
like
why.
because of that phrase then we can prove that it's not a baby. It's because we all know it's not a baby that we use that phrase, and that's like an evidence.
Yeah,
that's
we
like
don't-
a way that we
exactly.
can see it.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't know the time when it
We
becomes.
call it a baby because it is a baby,
Hey,
right?
hey, let me
There-
talk. Let me talk.
Ladies, come on,
Of course.
ladies. 1 pound fish.
Okay. We know for a fact that, like, right before conception, it's not a baby yet. But of course, we won't know when it does become a baby. But we know for a fact that right after conception, it's not a baby. So of course, it's possible. It's right for you to get an abortion right after conception.
Women don't even find out that they're pregnant in the first place until at least 2 weeks after conception.
Yeah, actually,
I
also
mean, I still
anyways,
agree with them. I
you
still agree
only
with
a lot of
them.
time women only realize they're pregnant after their first missed period, which is
I mean,
4
that's still
weeks
fine.
on
I still
average
agree with
after
you
the
guys.
last one.
I
So
still
are you
agree.
telling me after 4 or 5 or 6
No,
weeks?
no.
Like
No, you misunderstand my point. I'm still saying it's fine. It's still fine to abort because it's still not a baby yet. Even after 2 weeks,
Yeah.
3 weeks, it's not a baby yet. I mean, of course, it's very black and it's like it's not black and white when embryo becomes like actually intelligent.
are
And,
you
like,
the
a
one that
human
said the
being.
brain? Are you the one that said the brain?
Yeah, I'm the one that said brain. Yeah. What about it?
But the entire idea of first of all, like dumbing down life to the idea of whether or not he has a brain or not,
This is my
making it black and white
this is
turns
my
it into a
opinion.
currency. And capitalism
No.
ontologically reduces subjects to a state of currency.
Let me-
It is an infinite form of violence in the
Can you
form
let
of
me talk real
identity
quick?
commodification.
He's not
Otherness
done with
is
his
within itself an
argument. Why
integral
would you
part of itself. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay,
Karl Marxism.
Can you let me talk? So this is purely my opinion. Of course, it's not. Of course, it's not black and white. So of course, I may be wrong. I may be wrong, but I know for a fact
You are
that
wrong.
before before an embryo becomes intelligent, you are able to abort it. I think it's right, but I this is my opinion that a baby becomes a sentient being when it gets a brain. But that's my opinion, and I may be wrong. I don't know, but I know for a fact that but my opinion is that you can abort before the baby gets intelligence. That's basically my.
So you're saying the quantity, like how many lives we produce, is more important than the quality of life that we live?
Well, I mean, of course. Well,
Whoa,
at the
got
same
him.
time,
Good
at the
job, Karl
same time,
Marxism.
Yes.
or again, like if
Fish.
someone's living again, okay, so like let's bring to another example. So for example, if a homeless man is suffering and he's like he's suffering and he's being tormented, like would you kill him? Is it right to kill him because he has a bad life?
If he wants to die, wait. So you're telling me if you were suffering from like a bunch of diseases, you're homeless, you would rather suffer your entire life than to just like die?
Well, the baby isn't homeless. The baby
What
is
do you
suffering
kill
from 100 fucking diseases. So how about we just see
The
the
baby doesn't
entire
No,
care.
thing
I
here?
was talking about the homeless man, Mister whatever your name is. But we could go back to that example, right?
Oh my
It's
god,
about
preach.
it's not about how many
It's an
diseases or
analogy.
how homeless you are. It's about the quality of life you live.
Exactly.
And when your parents don't want you, and like you're just a burden to the world, what's the point of that? Like,
Who are you
Exactly.
to, who are you to say that they're a burden to the world? What allows you, some random person sitting 1,000 miles away from them, to say that their life is hurting the world?
Yeah, what if?
You know how mean that is?
What
Are
if?
oh, I'm sorry, I'm so mean.
you're
You
telling
wanna
this
cry
person
me
that
a
their
river?
life you're telling this person that their life is hurting everyone around them and that their life
Let me
is
tell you
causing
something.
pain.
You literally just said that you support capitalism. Do you know how mean that is? You support an infinite violence that you haven't even talked about in this entire debate. You literally support violence. That's like your entire motive.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you.
What? What infinite powers are you talking about?
Okay, if you want, I'll say it one more time. Ready? Capitalism ontologically reduces subjects to the state of currency. It is infinite violence in the form of identity commodification.
Wrong and wrong again.
What?
How is that wrong?
How's that wrong?
How is capitalism good? Just let me hear it for the one time.
Because it's a meritocracy.
That's
we live
bad.
in a crony
Those are
capitalist
bad.
society.
Meritocracies are bad.
Huh?
Are you telling me meritocracies are bad?
Are you telling me democracy is good?
Are you telling me that meritocracies, a system where how well you do is based on how good you are you telling me that meritocracies are bad?
Okay, I am telling you it's bad. You wanna know why? It's because how good you do is an unfair process.
Bro, do you want a medal for being good? I don't get like what you're talking about. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
exactly.
When you do well, when you do better, you get better rewards. It's like
But that's not true. The world is
Well,
unfair.
do you know what crony capitalism is? We're run not by the government, but by the corporatism and the corporations that help the economy of America.
It's a social monopoly, a patriarchy.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
We really need to go around and do some corporation busting.
Well, I'm sorry. What does this have to do with abortion?
I don't know. Let's finally start to speak on it.
Yeah, why are you talking about any economic system in the first place?
Let's stay on topic here.
Come on.
Sorry, extra centrist. Earlier I quote you said, "Can we not talk about economic policies? It's very annoying," and then you just brought it up. So
oh my god.
She was like quoting Marx or Lenin, like just.
Oh my god.
So are you saying just don't talk about economic
Marx
policies?
and Lenin
No, as in like at least put it in the context of abortion, but like explain.
All right, guys.